In early April 2025, the two countries, Italy and Colombia, is shocked by an incident. Like stepping straight out of the yard. Horror movie, many human body parts, stuffed into plastic bags and suitcases, then thrown away in the trash all over the city. Santa Marta calendar, a seemingly, is a typical act of killing to demonstrate power of local gangs, but the deeper the investigation, the more the authorities recognize the abnormalities that caused the fake. The device was shaken violently. It was the house again. Science is very difficult to relate to crime. Colombian offender, this person is also described. Very friendly, hard to make enemies. Grudge against someone in a foreign land. So in the end, what happened to the Italian scientist? What did he do to deserve this? Such an incomplete network. As usual, before entering the interior. Main content, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe for the case. True, and now let's begin. Santa Marta, the port city by the sea. Colombia's Caribbean, is considered among the oldest and most popular tourist destinations. Most charming in South America, located at the foot of the mountain range. Majestic Sierra Nevada, where there are beaches, white sand beaches, dense forests and cultural heritage. Rich in indigenous culture, Santa Marta attracts millions of tourists every year. However, behind that beauty is a safe reality. Complex security, the city has long become the operating area of many armed criminal gangs, from organizations, drug trafficking organizations to extortion groups, and control and protection of port areas. Government, local authorities have increased their forces. Police and travel inspectors, helping the central and coastal areas, are still quite safe. For tourists, however, Santa Marta still carries potential risks. Crime, the horrific incident took place on early April 2025, has proven that concern is well-founded. Everything goes back to the early morning of April 6th. In 2025, a local resident went across the area near Sierra Stadium. Envada suddenly smelled a strong stench. And letter 1EB7C. Following the oil trail, this person discovered a black travel suitcase was found. Left on the side of the road, proceed cautiously. Come closer to the color box and open it to see people. This person was shocked when he witnessed it. What it contains inside, that is, separate human body parts including hands, level hands and feet of a person. Man, too frightened, the witness hurriedly. Police call, police siren. The early morning peace and quiet, fast. Quickly cordoned off the scene. That guy, the first investigator, had to suppress his emotions. Shock and nausea at the sight. Support, the body was dismembered and wrapped in a bag. Black plastic and stuffed in a suitcase. No any identification or clue. Which identification is found immediately. In the suitcase, there were only a few traces of blood. Cloth, while the police were still shocked about that suitcase. Phone 123, emergency hotline. Santa Marta rings again, another message. The creepy report went out, another suitcase was found. Found on the riverbank near Menudo Bridge. Jedios, there it was, not out of the question. Authorities continue to find the torso and internal organs of a victim. Not stopping there, on the morning of the 8th of the month, the victim's remaining legs were found. Found in a sack thrown in Vap district. Ben, that's in less than a minute. 48 hours, body parts appeared in 3 different locations in the city. Santa Marta never witnessed the crime. How bold the evil enemy. Naturally dissolve body fragments around the wall. The street seems to challenge the whole community. A complex investigation has just been launched, moved with countless questions. Who is the victim? Why was he so brutally killed? And who is cold-blooded enough to commit the crime? This evil heaven to answer in turn. Those questions, Santa Marta police quickly mobilize forensic forces and criminal investigation to the detection points. Body parts main scene. The first suitcase in the capital. Burech, around the body the grass and trees were trampled. The kick indicates that the suitcase may have been kicked. Dragged from a vehicle. Roadside, no direct witnesses. Witnessed the suitcase thrower because this is a deserted suburban area, but the camera. Traffic not far away was obtained. Blurry image of two young men running. Motorbike carrying a bulky object into dawn of the day. This immediately was recognized by the police as the first clue. First, at the second location is the river bank. Near the bridge, a similar suitcase was found. Found containing the victim's torso, Cyro. The red mottled exterior shows that this suitcase has been there since last night. Police determined that both suitcases can be discarded almost at once. Just different locations determined that these are all bodies of the same person. The investigation team combined the scene became a single case. They stretched the blockade rope, meticulously collect fingerprints and fabric fibers on each sample. Suitcase and sack, traces of mud on. Suitcases suggest that they were once placed on wet ground somewhere before disposal. In addition, the plastic bag style is covered with. Body part is common type, but they cut and share quite professionally, both. The joints are neatly separated, making the scene more beautiful. Police do not rule out the possibility that the perpetrator has experience in committing this heinous crime. Investigators' first impression of the case. This sentence is a brutality of calculation. The way this Mainer's crime has made many people involved. Think of the purge cases of the armed group. It is almost similar to the mark that the clan Jin Goford gangs, or as Lowe's Pashenka, still doing it for prestige. Territorial disputes. However, the hypothesis gang pay also has its downsides. Usually, the cases are usually accompanied by a special symbol or sign, but there is no message here. Leave. Furthermore, the disposal of the body in downtown near the football stadium. Public is quite reckless, unlike how the gangs disposed of the body. Deserted. Investigator Lopez likened it to, still cautious not to ignore this possibility, is a murder for personal gain, or robbery, and the perpetrator intentionally divide the body to mislead the investigation, when all possibilities have not been eliminated. Except the case becomes more mysterious, with the locations where the body was discovered. The victims were not at the scene first. First, the police were forced to focus on identification as a lead. Solve the case. From there, the authorities can outline the circle of relationships, identify suspects, and narrow down the scope. Investigation, but with the body unarmed, without identification. Identification is very difficult. The victim was identified as male, middle age, based on facial features, and the remaining costumes are most likely foreigners. This information is immediately that is compared with the list of people missing in the area, and indeed, a missing person report has been filed. On April 4th, the owner of the motel stayed there. Santa Marta Center reported that a Italian tourist about 40 years old named Alexandro left on the evening of the 1st April and did not return. Tourist. This just arrived in Santa Marta the day before. Tell the motel staff that you want to Visit Mensa Forest on Mount Sierra, Nevada, the morning of April 4th, no sign. The guest appeared, the staff was suspicious so. Reported the incident, the family of the person. This person also proactively contacted the police. Said they suddenly lost contact with son and is anxiously following the plan. Locate his phone from afar, the information. This coincidental information made the police special. Pay special attention to the possibility of a primary victim. Is an Italian tourist, to be sure. Forensic experts and international liaison. Was deployed, police collected. Fingerprints from intact fingers. Intact and send for comparison with the database. International passport, the results showed a duplicate. Match the fingerprints in the passport. Alexandro Quatti, 40, 2 years old, Italian nationality. Enter Colombia in early April 2025. In parallel, the Italian embassies in Bogotá was informed of the incident, only. Within days, the identity of the main victim. The confirmed identity is Alexandro Quatti, an Italian scientist, was traveling. Calendar in Colombia, fast keep. Fly back to the victim's hometown, his family. In northern Italy collapsed but still. Must actively cooperate with authorities. Blame and from here portrait of the victim. The fate was revealed. Alexandro Quatti was born in the Emilia-Romagna region of northern Italy. He grew up in the town of Alfonsin. In a disciplined, intellectual family. Little Alexandro was famous for his intelligence. Eager to learn and explore. Pursue the path of science to become. Brilliant molecular biologist, Alexandro. Received a doctorate, worked as a PhD candidate in neuroscience at University College London, UK, for 8 years. He worked at the Royal Society. Biology in London as a specialist. Science policy officer, former representative. Present to the British Parliament on the issues. Scientific topic, dear colleague described. He is a passionate and dedicated person. Pancreas leading scientific and animals, organizes many events and writes many research articles. By the end of 2024, Alexandro decided to take a break from work at RSB to fulfill a long-standing dream of travel around South America combined with volunteer research. He signed up, participate in a volunteer program about animal conservation in Ecuador, then fought Chuzu Carrero, Bolivia, and the final destination is Colombia, with rich biological knowledge. Rich, wherever he goes he is passionate about research. Save native ecosystems, friends say that. He always has a notebook in his luggage. Copy strange plants and insects. On the road, on social networks, Alexandro seems to often share photos. Trip with bright smiles. Pristine forests and beaches in South America. He is also described as a open and confident in private life. Close friends know he is gay. Personality, but he lives very positively and well. Connect with people on the journey. South America, he is not afraid to make friends, including through social media or apps, and before arriving in Santa Marta, Alexandro have time to explore Bogotá and Melon City in Colombia. Santa Marta is expected to be just a short stop before he returned to Italy to reunite with his family. Easter, who would have thought that it was because this peaceful city of Changcheng, tragic fate took away his life. Of the talented scientist, that again further urges the authorities to find out the truth of the matter, the investigation. Now check to answer the question asked, what led Alexandro Quatti to this tragic fate? Police. Colombia has coordinated with authorities. Ability to work together to quickly solve the problem. Case as a foreign intellectual. Country, Alexandro clearly could not relate. Related to local crime reports. Investigators aim to find. Understand travel schedules and relationships. Quartz recent ties in Colombia. They followed the security camera at the motel. On the night of April 1st, Quiz stepped up. A taxi in front of the door. The driver then was found carrying a passenger. Foreigners to the El Pando area in south of Santa Marta at the request of brother. This is a remarkable new detail. Because El Pando is not the way up. Minka, so why did Quinn go there in the late at night? This mysterious clue opens up other lines of investigation. Is the victim went to El Pando alone to meet someone instead of going on a trip to Minka as planned? Witness interviews around El Pando area is underway. Some people remember the night of April 1st. Saw a foreigner walking with a local youth near the red zone, but no one is sure. The police have also come out. Check the victim's phone data and detect the last signal from the mobile of kneeling is in El Pando area around 11 p.m. April 3rd, after the time. Then the phone is off. It is the effort. Track phone location from home. The Italian victim helped to solidify the discovery. This is the first real piece of the puzzle. Useful, it is clear that Quanti has come to El Pando and most likely crashed there. And many identified suspect areas. Police concentrated on searching the houses. Abandoned private in El Pando, they split into teams and knocked on doors to ask questions. This persistence finally paid off. By an anonymous caller. Hotline reported that near their home there was a long vacant house suddenly has signs of life. Suspicious signs on the night of the 1st of the month. People. I caught a glimpse of some strange young men gathering. Practice and listen for loud noises. After. There a motorbike left in the night. That valuable information helps the police. A suspicious house in El Pando, 20th of May, a reconnaissance team. Raid this house. Traces of blood. Was found on the floor and walls though. Has been cleaned. The results of the examination quickly became a blood sample match. Quarty's blood. This is the scene. Case where the victim was killed. When found the scene, Colombian police, in coordination with forensic experts and arbitrary evidence to trace the murder. From the abandoned house in El Pando, the scene. The police have collected a lot of physical evidence. Important substance. Here is the thick colored mark. Duct tape, some fabric string and rope. In particular, a syringe and a small vial were found. Seen in the corner of the house raises questions about use of anesthetics, assessment. Liquid remaining in the bottle in the end. The fruit tested positive for scopolamine, a drug. Powerful psychotropic anesthetics are commonly used by Colombian criminals to make victims. Unconscious person, intending to rob property. Products in addition. At this time at Santa Marta is emerging as a crime scene. The crime is a youth gang that specializes in using dating apps to lure foreign tourists. Besides drugging and robbing property. Case has many similar signs. So, the victim is a homosexual with a history of pressure, lured to a deserted place, missing and abused. At this time, investigators. The pieces are relatively clear. Quiddy was lured through an app that darkened the house. In El Pando, drugged with scopolamine. Robbery then got executed, but two. If you point out the culprits, they will also. Solid evidence is needed. Data from the victim's electronic devices. The core can be a mine of useful information. Through analysis, the police learned. On April 3, Quatai texted through a dating app for people. LGBTQ+ with a strange account named Rinder. The conversation shows that the person that invited him to join a trip up the Sierra Nevada mountains, that's the plan. The plan that Curati excitedly mentioned to motel staff. Decent coincidence. The meeting point is suspected to be in the L area. Pando on the evening of the 1st of the month. Follow the data. IP data and location. Authorities know the mysterious account logged in with a prepaid Colombian SIM card. Before fanning at Santa Malta, just a few week and location of each login appearance in the El Pando area at the time of the victim's death. Allegedly victimized. Chat history for I saw this guy flirting with some foreigners. Other than above app similar scenario. From asking for a phone, the police found out. List of contact phone numbers. Yes. An unknown phone number appeared repeatedly. It is the number of a young girl named Andrea Uncle in Santa Marta. Follow her. This girl, the police determined she had romantic relationship with a young man named Brian Agio Quintillo, Cudancu El Pando, a man with a previous conviction for robbery, and from. Here is the step-by-step portrait of the suspect. Clearly visible, at the same time the grain patterns. Hands at the scene were also compared. With the criminal database, the results are outstanding. Turn on to reveal hidden handwriting on the tape. Glue and on a door in the house again. Matches the profile of Brian Cantillo, 23. Age, the guy just fought in 2023 for the crime. Armed robbery, Cantillo immediately fell into the crosshairs as prime suspect. Have a motive, have a criminal record, and be present at the scene. School, continue to exploit the police. Cantillo is currently the mastermind. A group of young criminals in Santa Marta. This group consists of about 5 to 6 young men. Both men and women aged 18 to 25 part. Large, living in El Pardo ward and neighborhood. Close, they colluded to carry out many cases. Online contact with tourists. Drugs, robbery, sexual activity. More than initially imagined. Information. This coincides with previous observations from social organizations that this is a nest. Juvenile crime group specializing on tourists by taking advantage of their trust and their lack of vigilance. Get list of suspects and incriminating evidence. Preliminary, prosecutor Sentioner Mangalana quickly approved the arrest warrant. In late June 2025, Colombian police launch a campaign to simultaneously sweep through the target. Results of 4 suspects missing from the net. Almost at the same time shows the coordination and the element of surprise of the police force. Ryan Agro, Cantillo Sanchito, 23 years old, the ringleader. The group was arrested in Santa Marta itself. He has a criminal record for robbery at a casino in 2008. 2022, just released from prison not long ago, then gathered juniors to continue criminal activities. Cantillo is a famous name in Santa Marta's previous wanted list. This case, Oscar Moses Apino Navadro, 24. Age, was arrested in the city of Medellin. He went into hiding after the Isaac Aring case. Marquardt Caris, 25, was arrested in the town. Ariona town, Bolivian province near the city. Statijna, Andrea Camila Baidugo Ikoja, 21 years old, was arrested in the capital Bogota. This girl is believed to be an accomplice in the role of decoy, baiting victims online, possibly human, behind the dating account used to lure. Kneeling, the suspects are on the run everywhere. Colombia shows the group was panicking after committing the crime and trying to escape the pursuit. However, all calculations have been cannot get past the authorities and cameras that run on Rice and Cyber Detective, because before that, in order to promote push to arrest the subjects. Police have offered a reward of 50 million pesos, means more than 340 million dong, for any citizen who provides useful clues, helpful in tracking down the suspect. Indeed, from anonymous calls, El Pando residents led police forward, close to the incident, innocent as if stomped, leg with mafia payment hypothesis. The truth has finally come to light, that is, a calculated robbery, carried out by local criminal groups. Young people the evil enemies have tried. Cover up sin by imitation. Purge of banned substances, but that diversion tactic failed. Defeated, after the first round of arrests, the general. 4 suspects were remanded in custody. Court, Colombian public opinion and monitoring. Closely and continuously update the development of the break. The pressure for justice urged the police too. Police continue to hunt for survivors. Sure enough, month 2025, 2 more suspects were found. An X-grid increases the total number of related objects. 6 people, including Anfrietas. 18-year-old Ganado Satilo was arrested on 8 October 2025 in Santa Marta. This is the youngest subject, is the one assigned, directly involved in analyzing and solving problems. Quartz body part with a motorcycle, he. Accused of murder and robbery. Violation of a corpse, J. Angel Lano Hernandez. 22 years old, arrested on 14/0/2025. While hiding in Cali City. Identified as participating in the control. Restrain the victim and dispose of the evidence. Body part to hinder investigation, El Scano. Prosecuted for concealing crimes. Committing, concealing and destroying evidence together. Serious property theft, as. So by the end of 2025, all 6 partners. The main suspect in the case has been arrested. Awaiting trial, Colombian Crown Prosecution Service. Affirms to continue to expand the investigation, to prevent any other accomplices from entering. The gang has not been exposed. At the same time, they also consider the possibility that this tape can cause similar cases against tourists, other in the Caribbean region, to pursue thoroughly the complete eradication of this gang. Is an important feat of force. Interdisciplinary investigation sent out. Strong message that crime will not go unpunished. Out of the net of the law, due to the level. Serious and of international concern, too. This case is being prosecuted closely. The suspects, after being arrested, were all detained and not released on bail. With particularly serious crimes, Institute. Colombian media has indicted the group of terrorists, convicted of many serious crimes including murder, with aggravating circumstances, kidnapping and theft. Serious theft, accompanied by the crime of concealment. Conceal and destroy evidence, according to the frame. Punishment for each crime is severe, especially the crime of brutal murder can. Sentenced to more than 40 years in prison, prosecutor announced that he would seek the maximum sentence for defendants for the act of manger causing shock. Social movements, as of October this year, 2025, the case is still in the state. Judicial investigation and preparation for trial, at pre-trial hearings. Status, initial statements, the defendants all deny or blame, subject Jos Diaz. Garanado stood in court and still denied it. Admitted he was directly involved. He thought he was. Just help with the return and delivery. Jos Lino also. Not guilty, forcing the prosecution to present DNA evidence and fingerprints. Prove his involvement. The judge, Santa Marta judge, signed a temporary restraining order. Imprisonment for all defendants who clearly state their actions. Their serious threat to the community should unable to release on bail, the Italian side due to the accident. Italian citizens, the Rome prosecutor's office also opened a parallel investigation into the murder. They sent prosecutors to Colombia, coordinated and ready to support the procedure. Legal procedures, the embassy in Bogotá delivered. The announcement welcomed the arrest of the suspect, affirmed to closely monitor trial to ensure justice for the public. Our people, even if there are problems. In the Colombian trial, the Italian side may request extradition or trial in absentia according to the laws of their country, public opinion of both countries. All expect a severe sentence. Dinqui, of course, wants the evil enemy to come. Appropriate charges, they have appointed a lawyer. Participate in assisting the prosecution, while also keeping documentary testimonies from Italy to supplement supplementary documents. Meanwhile, the lawyer reported. The defendant's defense focused on argument. This group point is not intentionally taking lives. The victim's death was due to an accident. Wanted during the robbery, they argued. Out the defendants are young, aware. Still limited, hope to reduce radiation. But this argument is difficult to sustain. The brutal nature of the case, the prosecution. The prosecutor will emphasize that the defendants planned from the beginning, cooperate closely, deliberately cause trouble. Injuries resulting in death and disability. Dismemberment of the body, factors that indicate constitutes premeditated murder because the defendants. If the defendant pleads not guilty, the case is likely to be over. The case will be brought to public trial this year. 2026. The outcome of the trial remains to be seen. Wait, but with evidence and the so strict legal analysts. Colombian judge predicts severe sentence. It is likely that the main defendants will sentence to decades, even nearly 50 years for the mastermind. Then Colombia. No death penalty, but that sentence enough for them to pay for almost their entire life. This case has left aftershocks large in Colombian society, in Italy throughout the 2025. It leaves behind an irreparable pain given to the victim's family, but at the same time is enough to improve the power of the law and international cooperation. From the suitcase was initially seized by police from both countries, has been patiently assembling each piece of the puzzle. Truth, dramatic journey to solve the crime. This closes with the message that justice may be late but will not leave anyone behind. The evil ones, though hidden. No matter how sophisticated the crime is, it is not. Avoid the day of bowing before the brim. Horse blood and the name of Alexandro. Court will be remembered not only as a poor victim but also like a warning. Province of vigilance and humanity in today's society is full of pitfalls, according to you. Then, with the crime committed by the group of perpetrators, what will be the sentence? Let's leave your comments below in the comments section as well. Like, subscribe to Real Case. Don't miss the next classic cases. Follow.